G'day all, it's Colin from PCTLC and thanks for joining me. Today I've got Linux Mint 19 running, and this was always my favourite distro going back quite a while. I haven't used it for a while, but I just wanted to check out Linux Mint 19. What I'm going to do first off is check out this updates. Now they're not doing security updates anymore with the kernel. They're not holding any kernels back, they're doing complete updates. So what they're doing now, what Linux Mint's decided to do, is use this backup snapshot tool as a way of getting around people having any issues with updates to kernel. So if anything happens to go wrong, which really these days not much does, but you still got to err on the side of caution, I suppose. What this snapshot will do is will enable you to go back to the snapshot as though nothing happened, and then you could probably uncheck a couple of applications here or dependencies, depending upon what it is, if you know which one is causing the problem, and then you'll be able to update but leave the problem one out. I think that's the way, the angle that Linux Mint is coming at with this process here, and it's probably not a bad idea. So if something breaks, snapshots will allow you to restore your system to the previous working condition. So it's a little bit like Windows Restore. So let's have a look. Let's click the OK button and see what happens here. Okay, so snapshots are created by creating copies of system files using rsync and hard linking unchanged files from previous snapshot. All files are copied when first snapshot is created. Subsequent snapshots are incremental. Unchanged files will be hard linked from the previous snapshot if available. Snapshots can be saved to any disk formatted with a Linux file system. Saving snapshots to non-system or external disks allows the system to be restored even if system disk is damaged or reformatted. Files and directories can be excluded to save disk space. Right, so let's click next. Okay, so SDA8, well actually that's a snapshot location, isn't it? Alright, so I suppose let's go next. Daily, weekly, I'll select weekly at this point. Next. And finish. Time. Snapshots will be created at selected intervals. Okay. So now we can install updates. So there's a Linux image update there. Okay, so that's our updates complete. Now, I noticed that their main focus on Linux Mint 19 was to do your backups and so forth. So now it's asking me for the mirrors. That would have been nice of them to do that prior to the update because that was painfully slow. So let's just do that. So we'll see if we can find the fastest mirrors here. That one looks good for now. Hopefully it stays fast. And IINet is my provider, so they're on the top of the list, so that looks good to me. So let's do that. Click OK to update that. Now what I'm going to do is, now that we've had a big update done, I'm going to restart, because I noticed I was watching a couple of other YouTubers review Linux Mint 19, and I think some of these links here were not actually working, so I'll give it the benefit of the doubt and I shall restart the system after the big update, just in case. What's going on there? Check your internet. There's nothing wrong with my internet. Okay. So I will restart and then we'll come back and have a look at that. Okay, so we're back into Linux Mint 19 after a restart. So we're just going to run quickly through the welcome screen. System snapshots we've seen, but we'll just double check that the link works. So time shift is active, yep. So driver management, let's have a look at that. Okay, so there's obviously a problem with the so 390 is there. I'm not going to bother installing that because normally on this computer it's a bit of a waste of time most times. Let me just double check my updates, my repos here. Well, actually I think the might still be checking the repositories actually. So update manager, yeah, that takes a good 30 seconds or so to start. It's launching from there anyway. Alright, so the update manager is not playing ball, it's not happy for some reason. We'll just let that go for now. We'll check system settings. System settings, that's working. Software manager, that's working. So all the links appear to be working there at the moment. Documentation. So documentation is working. That was the first Firefox startup since the reboot, so that's why that took just a little bit longer. So you've got an English documentation here. New features, that's a great idea, new features, so you can have a look through the new features, and that's the website there. So that's what I'm running through at the moment, the new features and the release notes. So all those links appear to be working. Just cancel that. Help, web forums, IRC chat room, quit that, and contribute. So if you like this distro, definitely contribute to that, and let's just check the link anyway and get involved. And there'll be a way to contribute there, make a donation there you go. So all those links are working, so I'd have to think that those links might be broken a bit with prior to the update, so obviously the updates have sorted that out. So that is the welcome screen, and it's a very welcome change. So what we're going to do is run through these new features a bit. Apparently the Software Center has had a new interface. The layout was refined and transition animations were added. So that's not the Software Center, is it? It definitely loads a lot quicker. I can already tell already because of, I've used Linux Mint quite a few times. So transitions. Now also apparently you can search within categories. It's asynchronous and you can now search within categories. So if we go to accessories, you should be able to search through accessories. And if we go to graphics, if we look for GIMP, so if we click in the search box first, I suppose, would help. And if we spell it right, will help as well. GIMP. So there's GIMP. Okay, so I'm not sure what's with the there's GIMP. Oh yeah, that's just the icon it's got there. Okay. So and I suppose if we search from here, I don't know what the advantage is of searching within categories, or maybe because you can go back, you're still in your category or something. I'm not quite sure what the deal is there, but new features, yeah. Software Manager. So that's what we're looking at there. So it's now easier to keep track of background activities. Support was added for Flatpak. So let's see if we can find something with a Flatpak. And normally I would have to think Telegram would be a Flatpak, possibly. So let's see if we can find that. Let's click on Telegram. And does it tell us where it's from? It's from the branch stable and it's remote from FlatHub. There you go. So that is a Flatpak. Okay, so telegram.desktop, FlatHub. Okay, there we go. So that's quite good. So we got that happening there. Now Cinnamon 3.8 feels snappier because it is faster and more efficient at launching applications and rendering new windows. Okay, so they've done the investigations here and so forth. So we also got the sound settings, which you now have settings to go beyond 150 or beyond 100% up to 150%. So that's that there and there. It's a really nice looking sound settings there too, I must say. File search as well. What they've done in Nemo is they've got a file search here. So if I search for some of the snapshots I've taken, so Linux Mint, I've got some snapshots there, and I've also got some videos as well. So now if you click on this save button. If you go to that save button, so if we close Nemo and we open Nemo back up and I do a search and I click on right click here, my previous search will be there, so we can do that. So now if I let's just say we go back and we do another search for, say, let's just do a search for text, or we're looking for a document, say doc. There we go, and I click that. So I'm assuming now that when we open that back up that we'll have an option for 2 different searches. And yep, so if you are doing a search, a common search quite regularly, then you can get quite a list of them here, which would be very handy. So I don't know whether you can actually, how you delete those. So it would have to be probably in the preferences and clear, toolbar, preview, looking for search, I suppose, aren't we? Alright, so I'm not quite sure how you actually delete so if we do a search for Linux Mint, say, this one here, and then, oh yeah, okay, so we uncheck that little star, right click, so I'm right clicking and there's nothing there. So once you uncheck that star, the search is gone. So that's how it works. Notifications, they now have a close button. So if we go into notifications, I would say in settings, I'm not going to bother searching around, take me too long. There we go, notifications. If we do a display a test notification, there's an X button there, so we can delete that, get rid of it and close it. Look and feel, symbolic icons gives it a more modern look and better support for dark themes. Okay. The coordinates and size of some widgets and components were adjusted to fall on exact pixels. The quit dialog no longer skips the taskbar. I'm not quite sure what that one is. The quit dialog. Okay. And then you got all these things here, which is getting into a little bit of the technical side. I'm not going to bother going into those. The X apps improvements, XZ, the text editor uses a new preferences window. So XZ, Z, text editor uses a new preferences window. This type of window is provided by libxapp and could be used by more applications in the future. Oh, that's got a new preferences window, okay. Okay, so, oh, there we go. Okay, I see what they're talking about. Okay. Theme, you got different themes there. Okay, nice. Okay. Save without trailing spaces, tag list, word. Okay, so that's all new there as well. The look and feel was refined and adjusted for GTK 3.22. Keyboard shortcuts window was added in the help menu. In the help menu, a new plugin was added for word auto-completion. This plugin doesn't use dictionaries, but it is able to auto-complete words which are already present in the document. The PDF reader X reader also received preferences window, so X reader, document viewer, and I believe there's something to do with So if we edit in preferences, same deal. Show history button, show expand window button, and also support for optional toolbar buttons. If you enable the option to remember recently accessed files in your privacy settings, Xreader displays and provides quick access to your recently opened PDF and EPUB documents. So it is now possible to change the size of the thumbnails, and that size is remembered for each document. Okay. Annotations can now be deleted. EPUB support was improved. Support for smooth scrolling was improved. The USB stick formatting tool now supports exFAT, and I believe exFAT is supported across all different operating systems, Windows and Mac, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. The software sources tool is able to show the install packages from a PPA. A new option was added to the login screen to improve multi-monitor support. You can choose among your monitors which one should show the login form by default. The form jumps from one screen to another as you move your mouse cursor between them. Starting with version 61, Firefox supports window progress, so download progress will be visible in your window list. Okay, in your window list, okay. And Firefox. Help about Firefox, that's 60.1, okay. Gnome Calendar is installed by default. You can use it as an offline calendar application or excuse me, or connect it to Google account to sync with online calendars. This application is also able to show weather forecasts. Very nice. So calendar, weather, let's have a look. Well, there's definitely no weather in there, but if we go to calendar, let's have a look at the calendar. Weather, show weather. Gnome system logs was replaced by Gnome logs. Multimedia codecs now include the Microsoft fonts. All the Mint tools support HIDPI, GTK3 and Python 3. Many also transitioned to AppDaemon and PKExec. Pigeon was removed from the default software selection. It will continue to be available in the repos, but is no longer installed by default. NTP and NTP date were removed. Cinnamon uses system D to adjust the time. And there's been artwork improvements as well. So there's been some new, oh, wrong one. Change desktop background. And there's obviously quite a few new. Geez, there's some nice pictures in here, isn't there, I must say. Really nice. That's nice. I like a little bit of lightning in a photo. Looks a bit like Canada, that photo there. Oh, I remember Rob had this on his desktop. I thought my YouTube hadn't loaded the high quality properly. That was Linux Quest, Rob from Linux Quest. Yes, some really nice pictures. That's my pictures there. So I don't know why they're showing up. Don't want them as my background. And yes, we had that one there as the new one. So there's a few new pictures here. New Linux Mint photos. Background wallpapers. And that's the, I think the 18.3 one, I think. Okay. So that's a little bit of look around. Close the tabs there. Update manager still hasn't come back for me, so I might have to restart and just update that update manager, the repos on there. Maybe the site I chose wasn't right. So I'm going to stop the recording and restart, and I'll be back. Okay, so update manager still hasn't done anything here, so I couldn't open from here. So I don't know what's going on there. I'm just going to choose a different mirror here because I suspect this is the one that's giving me grief. Oh, see the RNet wasn't there before, and I think that's the one I normally choose. Internode. See, that one's gone way down the list now. So that's a huge difference in results. So that was just after the update. So yeah, it's probably best that you reboot and then check your mirrors would be better. The Internode is my provider anyway. So, and I think I've chosen the RNet before too. So, and then we'll click OK and see how that goes. Hopefully no more errors. Okay, so that seemed to have sorted that out. We didn't get any errors there, but we'll see what happens with the update manager. Just checking out the file manager here. Just there is one thing within the file manager. If you click on this little plus button here, you get some extra options that don't show up by default. So, and those options are duplicate, make link, copy to, and move to. And you got plenty of options there as well. So here we are in Linux Mint 18.3. So we have the sound settings, and we don't have the extra settings there at all. There's another extra settings button in 19. That's not there. If we have a look at Xed, edit and preferences. Okay, so it's definitely an improvement there. And the X reader. So there's actually no preferences in XReader at all. Okay. So okay, we'll take a look at the update manager. So you can see here, just keep my computer safe, let me review sensitive updates, and always update everything. Well, normally in the past I would check that one and okay. That's what I normally do. Now here on this one, it's actually asking me for mirrors before the updates, whereas the other one was focused a bit more on time shift. So I'd like to see that come up after you've done your time shift. And we'll just select the local mirrors here. Just go RNet on this one. So we'll just install those updates, and I'm sure there's a lot more updates coming down after these two quick ones. Okay, so updates have been applied for Linux Mint 18.3. So we'll just look at the calendar in here. I don't know if there was a calendar. There's actually no calendar before the Gnome calendar's in 19. Just got the calendar down there. And if we look at the Software Center, Software Manager, have a quick look at this as opposed to the previous one. So look for Telegram. And that's from FlatHub as well. So they had FlatHub in 18.3. Certainly icons are a little bit different. Then we'll have a look at searching in the file manager here. Look for Linux Mint. Certainly the search is reasonable as well as the same as 19. We don't have the save search option there. And then we got our change desktop background, and certainly they have a lot more of the previous operating systems in there, which you probably still can get in 19. Probably can download them from the Software Center, I would say. And we didn't have, yes, we got the new one with the sloped icon. Yep, so that's not in here. Yep. So we'll have a look at system settings and icons. I think in 19 there's probably a lot more icons there. We're going to have another look at that. So that was Linux Mint 18.3. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.